knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead, make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. Good morning. I have with me Representative Jeremy Faison. He is a Republican Tennessee state representative for District 11. And there is a debate going on in Tennessee, in the legislature there in Tennessee about cyber bullying. They're trying to get a bill passed there. Some folks are angry at Representative Faison because he said they committed suicide because they were not instilled the proper principles of where their self-esteem came from at home, meaning that the parents need to take more control of their children. And passing all these bullying laws will not solve the problem. And now the folks are mad at him for speaking the truth. Representative Faison, welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Jesse. Thank you for having me on.
You know, I saw the video of this debate, and I appreciate your courage. Are you surprised that there's angry backlash for your comment?
You know, Jesse, it was taken a little bit out of context. And I was shocked. We have received an enormous amount of hate mail from all across the nation, and received it at home, received it in emails, and somehow my cell phone number got out to people, and so it's been quite an amazing thing. And I probably didn't. It was a botched attempt at the root of what I was trying to say. I didn't do a good job, and sometimes when you're sitting on the House floor trying to defend something or oppose something, you get a little worked up, and I could have said it better than what I did.
Let me just play for the folks what you said, because in all honesty, I didn't see anything wrong with what you said, and it was quite clear to me, and it made sense. Andre, go to number 2A there for me. Here's what the representative said.
Since the beginning of time, we've had bullies. There's been all kind of frustration and anger happen in elementary school, middle school, and high school. We have a bully in the state of Tennessee right now who's bullying my caucus. I probably beat up a few bullies in my time when I was younger. They needed it.
Yeah.
And I have tremendous respect for the representative who brought this bill. But what we did last year was wrong. Guys, we can't continue to legislate everything. And we have some horrible things that have happened in America and in our state, and there's children who've actually committed suicide. But I will submit to you today, they did not commit suicide because of somebody bullying them. They committed suicide because they were not instilled proper principles of where their self-esteem came from at home.
That made so much sense to me, Representative Faison. When I was growing up, and I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama, and I remember having one fight in high school while growing up, but if I had gone home crying, talking about I'm going to commit suicide because someone bullied me, my grandmother would have whooped me all the way back to school.
Well, Jesse, here's where I was coming from. Now, listen, I can't begin to tell your listeners what are the reasons for suicide. There's multiple reasons, but I personally believe that a lot of stuff starts at home. The parents of the bullying need to get engaged. Their children are being bad. They need to snatch them up. The parents of the children who are weak emotionally or they look like they're struggling, they need to be there.
Yeah.
Now, just because someone commits suicide, I should have never said that only reason they commit suicide is because they didn't get proper training. That was where I messed up. There's multiple reasons, and there's psychologists and doctors and psychiatrists could tell us all these reasons. But I would still go back today. One of our major problems in America is the home.
Yes.
And until we get back to the dinner table, if you will, we're going to continue to see problems arise. I'm one of these firm believers that we need our families at the dinner table.
Yep.
The other day, my daughter, she's 9 years old, she was knocking on doors with me, and we knocked till about 7 o'clock in the afternoon. She said, Daddy, let's stop and get something to eat at McDonald's. I said, well, Mama made dinner. Let's go home and eat with everybody. I have 5 kids.
Yes.
And we just had a big time. We went back, and even though I'm gone a lot, I'm in Nashville, which is 4 hours away from my home, I do my best to come home and eat dinner as much as possible. And I feel like we could accomplish a lot in America.
So are they angry at you because you said most of them are committing suicide because they have not been prepared at home? Or...
Yeah, I feel like that's where most of the anger came from me. And I had some parents of children who committed suicide, and they sent me emails and say, how dare you say that I'm the problem? And see, that's probably where I went wrong. And I don't want to... Listen, suicide affected my family, and I've had to look in the mirror and say, even this year, suicide happened. So, and I'm thinking, and I had to look in myself and say, did I do anything to cause this? And I don't want parents to feel just because their child committed suicide that they're the problem. Obviously, we know there's multiple reasons. But at the end of the day, some level has to be brought back to the family.
Yeah.
And we need to take personal accountability for our children.
It's interesting that those parents contacted you and said, how dare you blame me for the suicide? You were not talking about all people. And to me, it seems that only the guilty ones overreact to those type of statements. And that's why they called you, because they are guilty.
Well, and it wasn't just them. The homosexual.
Oh Lord!
In America, this movement was greatly offended. Now, if you listen to my statements, I never brought up the gay agenda or the homosexual movement at all.
You sure didn't.
It had nothing to do with this.
Right.
But if you Google my name, you'll see my name attached to lots of homosexual, gay, bisexual, transgender websites, and they were greatly offended that I would have the audacity to say that bullying does not cause suicide. Well, I can't listen. Most of us were bullied at a time in our life, and so all I was saying is that's not the only reason. There's a lot of reasons, and my whole attempt, Jesse, was to keep us from criminalizing 10-year-olds, little kids.
Yeah.
And we just passed this bill last week.
Oh, it did pass.
Yes, and it even states that is it a criminal offense. Children are going to be registered delinquents for bullying now.
So now if you have a 10-year-old child argue with another child, that 10-year-old child would now become a criminal?
Well, if the teacher deems it so, yeah. Or if they say something offensive online. Really, it had to do with cyberbullying and saying stuff on the computer or Facebook or whatever social media you take. If you say something that is out of line or offensive, it can be a criminal offense according to this bill that we passed, yes.
I think this bullying thing is an idea that was created by the homosexuals, radical ones at least, in order to prevent good folks from disagreeing with their lifestyle. I think that's what this is all about, and it seems that the normal people don't understand how they're being manipulated by these folks. I can't really speak to that. All I can say is that we've had bullying for a long time, and I just want to protect us from making criminals out of children. Listen, once you get a child down the criminal path, it's hard to pull them out of it. It's like it gets in their brain, and you start telling somebody you're a criminal, man, it gets in their brain. Wow.
And
let me take a quick break.
Go ahead.
888-775-3773. 888-77. Jesse, this is some amazing stuff, folks. It's time to wake up, America. Back in a moment.